So how would the UK government actually ban VPNs to enforce the Online Safety Act? Let's explore some ways that they might try and why it's a bit trickier than you'd think. So we've established that the Online Safety Act is completely bypassed, well, at least the age verification, if you use a VPN. Now, what could the government actually do about it? Well, there's a few ways or approaches they could use. First, we can look at the legal and policy arsenal. First of all, they can amend legislation. Now, they could do things like add new laws which specifically target VPN use for bypassing age verification or accessing restrict content. So it'd be like a targeted strike rather than a blanket ban on all VPNs, which could possibly work but could get extremely fiddly and very easily to bypass again. ISP obligations. Now, they already do this to a certain extent. You could make sure you target internet providers like BT and Sky and Virgin, who could actually be forced to block VPN endpoints. They do this now currently with some sites, and piracy sites like the old Pirate Bay were blocked, are blocked in fact, from popular ISPs. Again, a little bit difficult, and these sites can change all the time. Payment restrictions. Yes, you could do this as well. You could hit VPN services where it hurts. So restrict their ability to go into app stores, to use payment processors and advertise. Stop them targeting advertise. UK customers, at least anyway. And this is another method they could use. Or we could go to a use case criminalisation. This is like a bit like the Computer Misuse Act, where a computer isn't obviously criminal, but you can use it then, instead of banning VPNs entirely, make it illegal to use them for specific purposes, like dodging age checks. So you keep the tools, but you target or regulate the misuse. It does fit in quite neatly with the existing legislation. Again, could be difficult to prove, though. So, that's legal and regulatory. How about technical enforcement methods? So if you want to actually block a VPN or stop it working, people have tried, people do block it, and there's a few main ways you can do this. IP blocking, this is the most common one. You block known VPN server addresses. All VPN servers have an IP address, so you can block them. Problem is with this, the BBC iPlayer and ITV do this all the time to stop people using VPNs to watch the BBC and ITV from outside the UK. It does work, and it's stopped a lot of VPNs working, but the bigger ones, or the ones with more resources, like NordVPN, which you can get a discount in the description below if you want to try it, they rotate the IP addresses and their server addresses, so it's kind of like a digital whack-a-mole. Deep packet inspection is the real techie way of doing it. You use advanced filtering methods to detect VPN traffic patterns. Now, this is how the Great Firewall of China does it. It does risk blocking legitimate business VPNs. Of course, Chinese don't care about that because the traffic looks identical, really, because it's encrypted and it's you're unable to distinguish between a VPN being used for age verification bypassing or to encrypt company documents so they can send them safely across the internet. So there's a big stumbling block there, obviously. App Store pressure, you can just try and wreck the VPN's sort of sales routes by removing VPN apps from UK stores. Easy to bypass, though, sideloading and alternative distribution methods direct from websites and stuff like that. It's easy to bypass that. It would be inconvenient for some of the big stores, but it wouldn't stop them. And again, you end up people using under-the-counter VPNs, so to speak. Another method is domain blocking, so you can prevent access to VPN websites, so new users can't sign up. This is what happens if you want to go to somewhere like China or Russia and use a VPN. You're best to get the VPN first, because you can't get to the VPN website to download it. But again, there's alternative methods. You can host it on any website anywhere and install. So. And you can use, they're basically called mirror sites, but they're put on non-VPN sites if you so. Or you can use Tor, which is kind of like a public VPN service. It's called the Onion Router, and it's quite slow, but it does the same effect. And you can use Tor to bypass the age verification as well. So the practical problems, there's quite a few really. Businesses are reliant on VPNs. All the time I've worked in IT, any large multinational company will always have VPNs on all their business laptops. This is thousands and hundreds of thousands of laptops will have VPNs, and it's a part of doing business in a global international community, really. An outright ban would cripple UK businesses, and there's lots of people who would just move out of Britain because they need VPNs, really, to protect their IP and their all their data, really. So security concerns, the VPNs are basically the mainstream cybersecurity tool. If you ban them outright, you dramatically increase the risks of hacking and data theft and cyber thievery. All these will go through the roof without VPNs. For instance, you should never check your email or online banking or something on an untrusted Wi-Fi network without a VPN. If you do, you're risking having your personal details stolen or your account compromised. Enforcement nightmare. Every single method I've mentioned here can be bypassed pretty easily. Tech-savvy users have the list of alternatives is almost endless. You've got Tor, which I've mentioned, the Onion Router network. You've got decentralized VPNs that don't exist through one single company, but in a sort of peer-to-peer network. Shadow socks, encrypted proxies can pop up anywhere all over the world. People can set them up on their home computers. It's with fast broadband speeds now, you don't need server infrastructure to run these things. The list goes on. Civil liberties backlash, big issue for me personally and for a lot of people. A blanket ban would face fierce legal challenges. There are already legal challenges from American companies now saying that they're blocking the American companies' right to free speech, the First Amendment. So privacy, free speech and proportionality grounds. Is it too over the top? So what's that likely to happen? Well, we don't really know, to be honest. I think it's likely to be some sort of targeted approach. They're going to focus on consumer VPN services used for streaming or bypassing age locks, but it's very difficult to define which is a business and which is a consumer VPN. There's a lot of crossover. NordVPN is the biggest residential VPN service, or one of them, certainly. But it's used extensively in business, and they've got business apps to go with it as well. They can pressure ISPs and platforms to make circumvention harder. I think this kind of one will happen to some extent. I presume it will have limited effect, but it will have some effect, especially if you get the ISPs on board. Require age-gated sites to detect and block VPN traffic. BBC and iPlayer and ITVX and lots of the media sites have been doing this for years. Some success takes an awful lot of resources because generally they can't go through the deep packet inspection route, and they go through the blocking IP address, which costs a fortune. And even you've noticed some sites like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and stuff don't really block these as much as they used to, but they still do to some extent. So Netflix and BBC iPlayer are an obvious example there, trying to block residential VPN traffic while leaving business VPNs untouched. Possible, but really, really difficult. So the bottom line, will we get a complete VPN ban? It's possible, but it would be sort of suicide for the UK on many, many different levels. There'll be massive economic, security and political consequences. I can't see them doing it. Most likely outcome, they'll do, as I mentioned, the targeted blocking, criminalising specific uses, like dodging Online Safety Act checks rather than blanket prohibition. I don't think that's going to help very much either. It's like saying criminalising copying DVDs and stuff like that. It becomes so common, it's hard to prosecute anybody for it. The reality, determined users will always find workarounds and ways to do it privately as well. The government knows this. So expect some possible surgical implementations, but the nuclear option, I would think, is almost completely unlikely to happen. Okay, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video, and join me again soon if you so wish. Bye for now.